What's going on, everybody? My name is Aiden and welcome back to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to provide an episode of Chicago Bulls Weekly for you guys as we discuss the previous week for the Bulls and also discuss the upcoming week for the Bulls. And I got to be honest, this West Coast trip pretty much entailed a whole week of the Bulls not being at home, and it was close to as perfect as I think you can get. Now, in terms of the performances, I would say no, it's not perfect. There were still some big problems with the Bulls that consisted in every single one of these games. Offensive rebounding and bench scoring being the key. But the results were really good for the Bulls this week. So we're going to discuss that and obviously give out awards and discuss upcoming weeks for the Bulls as well. Before we get any further, if you like the video and you want to see more from me, drop a like, drop a follow, and or subscribe if you are new. And let me know in the comments below your thoughts about the previous week for the Bulls and the upcoming week for the Bulls. Now, before I get any further, I want to quickly give another Lonzo Ball update. I didn't want to make a whole video about this one because it doesn't seem like it's a massively, detailed and structured update. All we know is that I think according to Casey Johnson this time around, that Lonzo Ball is able to take the next step in his rehabbing process. Now, there was a news outlet suggesting that Lonzo Ball is clear to do a lot more basketball activities in a non-contact environment. I think that's been taken a bit out of context, so I'm not too sure what the update is there, but just know he's able to take the next step in his rehabbing process, and that is the most important thing to take out of the situation. Whether that is NBA related, basketball related or not, that's still a big injury update, and that is something we should be happy about. Now, for the Bulls previous week, we had 4 games throughout the Bulls West Coast trip, and we ended up going 3-1. Now again, that's as good as it can get. Of course, you could get to perfection and get all 4 wins. We almost did, but unfortunately not to be, as we did lose that last game of the West Coast trip. But we started off against the Sacramento Kings, and we won this game 113-103. A really positive result for the Bulls. Again, DeMar DeRozan absolutely carried the load for this game, took over in the fourth quarter. Kobe White scored a career high and had one of his best games, if not his best game of his entire career in this timeout. He seems to play well against the Kings, and that is shown, but still a really positive result all the way around. I'm happy for this Bulls team, getting a win like this. Again, this set the tempo for the rest of the trip. This is arguably the most important game because of that. When you set the tempo, pretty much everything else goes smoothly from there. So getting the result, DeMar DeRozan delivering in the fourth, winning a close and competitive game is something you always like to see. That continued against the Utah Jazz, and we won this game 119-117. Now, this game was filled with drama. The Torrey Craig, Chris Fleming, John Collins technical foul saga, as well as the fact that the Bulls made this much more difficult for themselves than they needed to make it. At the end of the day, there was no Larry Markkinen, no Walker Kessler, and a bunch of other guys were still missing for the Utah Jazz. Yet, this was a struggling game. But when it mattered the most, the Bulls and DeMar DeRozan once again in the fourth delivered as we picked up a big victory. Again, making some clutch free throws in this game, and the fact that we almost gave it away with technical fouls and just complete nonsense and drama is something I'm not too keen about, but the win is something I'm keen about. The next game was against the Golden State Warriors, and we ended up winning this one. Let me quickly get it real quick. 125-122 was the score. Look, we hadn't beat the Golden State Warriors away from home in a decade. Close to a decade. It's a long time to go to someone else's territory, get dominated, and find your way back home. So the fact that we were able to defeat the Golden State Warriors in this time out is an incredible feeling, and it's an incredible result for the Bulls. Keep in mind, the last time we versed the Warriors at home, they ended up making a complete and utter comeback in the second half to actually blow us out of the water. Thankfully, it was not the case this time around. We delivered in the second half. Again, a big fourth quarter for the Bulls. We found a way to get some stops and really pile on the pressure. Of course, when guys like Curry end up losing, exiting out of the game in the fourth quarter with 3 minutes to go, that does definitely help. But we did good things in this one out. We got Draymond Green fouled out. That was a fantastic thing, and that obviously made the Warriors a little bit weaker. We did the same thing to Sabonis, by the way, against the Kings. I enjoyed that, and at the end of the day, we picked up a win that we needed to pick up. And then, of course, the Clippers game, we did lose this one, 112-102. A really good first half, not such a good second half. Destroyed in the fourth quarter. That was basically the deal. We managed the game well in the first half. They managed the game well in the second half. A really great team in the LA Clippers, and they ended up walking away with the victory. So that's really it in terms of the Bulls weekly. Now let's turn to the, awards. We usually give out 4 awards: the Must Improve, Sixth Man of the Week, Player of the Week, and Defensive Player of the Week. So let's start off with the must improve, and this one is a bit difficult to give. At the end of the day, we went 3-1. Again, close to perfect as you can get without being perfect in my eyes, at least from a results-based type of situation. So it's not really much reasoning or not really much reason to give a must improve when you have such a positive week in such a very unique and stressful environment, I must say. So altogether, I'm going to actually skip out on the must improve. I feel like it's completely not needed. Now let's turn to obviously the sixth man of the week. And I feel like the only choice here is Andre Drummond. And it's sad. It's very sad that I say that because this bench really underperformed. And Andre Drummond at least had some solid minutes and solid production in certain games. Even Andre Drummond, I would say, struggled this week. So this was a very frustrating moment. And the Bulls bench, granted, it's not necessarily strong. We are relying on a lot of young guys. And unfortunately, inconsistency will bear with young guys. It is what it is. When you're relying on Julian Phillips, a rookie, and Onuralp Bitim, a rookie. I know he's 24, he's played professionally, but he's a rookie at the NBA level. You will unfortunately see inconsistency. That's exactly what we're seeing with them. We have to be patient and mindful, but it still doesn't change the fact our bench was extremely lackluster this week, and I would like to see better in the future. Obviously, for the defensive player of the week, this one is a little bit interesting as well because I have two players in mind here. I have Ayo Dosunmu and Alex Caruso in mind. The reason why I have Ayo Dosunmu in mind is because I feel like he was extremely underrated this week. But of course, it is very difficult to go away with Alex Caruso. He had a very strong game against the Kings, a really strong game in the last time out against the Clippers as well. Again, a really massive, strong defender for the Bulls, and I don't think, it's an easy choice. But at the same time, this is not supposed to be easy or hard. It's supposed to be the right choice. And I think Alex Caruso is the right choice. Correct me if I'm wrong. If you find someone else that has incredible defensive stats this week, let me know. But I think it's Alex Caruso, and I think the eye test will prove that alone. Then obviously we got the player of the week, and this is going to be an interesting one. Vucevic had a strong week. Coby White had a strong week. DeMar DeRozan had a strong week. And as much as I'd love to give it to Coby White because he is my favorite player, as much as I'd like to give it to Nikola Vucevic because I think he's been outstanding since the post-All-Star break, this is DeMar DeRozan's week. And I think it'd be stupid not to give it to him. Again, he bailed us out of some big moments here. 2 of those games, he had clutch free throws to seal it. Again, a whole saga in between. There was a game he dropped 17 points in the fourth quarter to lead us out of a game. He was fantastic this week. It's as simple as that. Even the game that we lost against the Clippers, DeMar DeRozan was our best player. So that is where I'm going to give it to. I think that's the only right answer. But if you guys disagree, that is completely fine. That is up to you. Now, we're back home soon, ladies and gentlemen. In a couple of hours' time, we'll be facing the Dallas Mavericks to kick off our week. Happy to see, of course, the Dallas Mavericks again. Not often you get to see guys like Luka and Kyrie. I really enjoy Luka's game. He's one of my favorite players to watch in the league, so I'm definitely going to enjoy this one. But still, a game where I still feel this is winnable. We've had good games against the Mavericks before, but the Mavericks, I believe, won our only meeting, and this one was in Dallas against us this season. So they will have the advantage and the confidence behind them. But still, of course, with new players in there, especially from the center position, this will not be the same Dallas Mavericks we faced in the past. Nonetheless, our next game is going to be against the Indiana Pacers. A huge game. Indiana Pacers is a rival at the end of the day, a direct rival for a 7th and 8th seeded position, and they are way ahead of the curve at the moment. But you'd be quite surprised what one win and one loss to each other's record when we face each other can do for a team. Now, the Pacers, I believe, have won 2 games against us, if I'm not mistaken, this season. So again, not going to be an easy game. They're a tough individual team. They're a very good offensive team. They're a new look team from when the last time we faced them. But this is a massive game, and I expect a massive performance from the Bulls in this one, because that could be game-changing. That could be seed-changing, if you know what I mean. And then we've got another game against the Clippers in a back-to-back situation. We go to Indiana away from home, then we travel back for the Clippers game at home. Not necessarily a fan of an away back-to-back to a home back-to-back, but I guess they're not that far away from each other. And again, we've versed the Clippers before. We know what to expect. I still expect a good fight and a tough battle. We'll wait and see if we can get the victory. Last but not least, we've got the Washington Wizards, and this one will be the last game of the week. I find that hard to believe. I honestly don't think we've versed the Wizards yet. Correct me if I'm wrong. Have we versed the Wizards yet? Like, it's so late on in the season, I feel like this is the first time we're actually seeing them. Nonetheless, the Wizards are the last team in the Eastern Conference. You might think it's the Pistons. Turns out, as of now, maybe that has changed with their win against the Heat, I believe. But they are the last seeded team in the Eastern Conference, or they're at least bottom 2. So that is a must-win game for the Bulls if we want to take advantage and, again, try to get those easier ones. You can't make any mistakes. There is not enough room for error. You just can't make any mistakes anymore. So let's hope the Bulls can find a way to overcome. And that's going to be me for this video. Thank you for watching. Drop a like and a follow, and or subscribe if you are new. See you in the next one. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay tuned for more. Take care and peace.